Hello. Happy
Hi,
2023.
happy
Jeremy,
2023.
this is it for 2022.
I'm
This
glad
is
it's over.
I had to hit record because you and I are like, what's going on? And I was just talking to a dear soul yesterday, and all these concerns are just bubbling up, in her. And a lot of it is, just things that are happening. It's just a lot all at once, it seems. And
Mhm.
just in talking to you, it felt like things are figuratively and literally bubbling up to the surface,
Yeah.
like this flooding in your backyard, and things are doing the same for me. And I'm just like, is just this like the last pull for this tiger energy of
Oh,
this year to really get us to just let some of this stuff go
hmm.
before the new year of the Chinese solar new year on February 4th.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I'm glad that you said that because a lot of the little things that are bubbling up, they're making me feel emotional. Like little tiny things that usually are nothing.
Mhm.
They're just they're just either really making me anxious or worried or
Mhm.
sad or emotional. And I mean, we're in a yang water year with the tiger, which is really unpredictable. So unpredictable emotions are coming up. And
Mhm.
we've switched from a yang water month to a yin water month. So
Yeah.
it's water, water. This is
Plus,
the last
the
push.
isn't the full moon in Cancer, which is a water this
Um,
week?
I think so. I think that I didn't even check to see what the moon is doing. Full moon in
It just
Cancer.
feels a
Full moon
little
in Cancer.
overwhelming, doesn't it? Like, I don't
Yeah.
even know if anybody can help me solve this problem, or, I
Yeah.
don't even know if I can figure it out.
It's just overwhelming. It's
Hmm.
overwhelming water energy. And I was just kind of looking over like the energy for the month, and I think it's kind of interesting that we have the rat in December and then the ox in January. And I think that's why people are like, okay, 2023 is here. I'm going to make a huge list of stuff I got to do. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then the beginning of, February comes and it shifts into a different animal. And it's just like, well, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's that ox energy of, okay, time to get to work.
Yeah, the ox is to me, it's such a slower paced energy, and it's a stubborn energy. And to me, ox energy, you would put on weight if that was one of your New Year's resolutions. Like you would, because they're heavy beasts, they're big, right? They have a
Yeah.
big presence, and they're very
Yeah.
much about their physical presence. And it just doesn't make sense to me. And it's something that I didn't really understand. Like, gosh, I can't connect with these New Year's resolutions. I've never been able to connect. But then once I got into the Chinese astrology stuff, however
Mhm.
many years ago, it's like, oh, this makes so much sense because you want a huge push and momentum and inspiration at the
Mhm.
beginning of the year, but it's not really the beginning of the year. I mean, you know, it's weird because we're the beginning of the 2023 Western calendar, but
Right.
we're at the end of the Eastern calendar. So
Hmm.
these months are overlapping. And that's why I think maybe there's this kind of push pull power struggle going on. But
Yeah.
no, I want to move forward. And then you get drugged back. Did you finish all your stuff? Did you learn all you were
Yeah.
meant to learn?
Well, and there's a lot of that going on in the sky right now. I mean, the planet Jupiter just went into Aries. Jupiter is good fortune and abundance, and Aries is action, moving forward, new beginnings. And Mercury slammed on the brakes
Right, right. Go on.
in the sign of Capricorn, which is an earth sign, so it's heavy,
Mm,
slammed on the brakes, and it's retrograde until the 19th or 18th or 19th of January, which is interesting because Capricorn energy is all about business and industry structure. So when Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn, it's a good time to restructure, rethink a lot of the things that
mm.
we're doing business wise. That's why before we got on the call, your computer's freaking out. And that's a business thing for you, right? Same
Mhm.
thing over here. My office is a mess. I'm rethinking it. I'm redoing those things. So you've got Jupiter here wanting to push us forward and Mercury saying stop. Same thing with this ox
Mm,
energy. There's such a push pull for this month. So I think that with this last push of this emotional water energy, especially, thank you for reminding me that the full moon is on Friday the 6th in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is the most emotional sign in all of the Western zodiac. So when we have a full moon, which is about release, take all of these little things that are making you feel emotional and just let them go.
mm, hmm. I love that. So what other kind of tips do we, I mean, because I'm feeling at some sense, while we want to move and let things go, we need to feel grounded too,
Mhm.
so that we're not like, just being thrown up wherever and,
Yeah,
oh, this is where I landed and this is how I get to start the new year. Because I just feel like there's potential here for really, we could head into the rabbit energy on the 4th of February, kind of confused and not really knowing where to turn and who to trust.
right. And I think that's what the ox is trying to get us to do, is to slow down. And that's why Mercury is in retrograde in Capricorn,
Mm-hmm.
which is Earth. Slow down, get your bearings. The rabbit's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Then when the rabbit comes, we can start to burst forward into new beginnings. But
Yeah.
for now, it's good to just really pause and dig deep and really kind of get to the depth and the root of why we're feeling these things so that we can let them go this month.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love this conversation because it does get confusing because you hear one thing and it's like, oh, we're supposed to do this, but then you're feeling something different.
Yeah.
And of course, it's empowering when we know our own charts, right? Whether it's your Western astrology chart or your Chinese astrology chart, you need to know, if you have a high water chart or a low earth chart or whatever, so that, because some people right now might be listening to this and going, everything's fine with me. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So we'll take a look at your chart. Why is that? So
Mhm.
there's something to be said there, but there's definitely this water energy and this earth energy. So
Yeah.
water is movement and flow and release, it's emotions, and then earth is grounding and supportive and security.
Yeah.
So how are this yin yang balance of that? How in your own world, how does that look? What does that feel like? Do you just need somebody to be really supportive of you right now? That they can take
Mhm.
care of things when you get emotional. We went and saw
Yeah.
Avatar on Sunday. I was a mess. I was just shaking and bawling. And I got home and I was bawling and I'm like, I'm going to go shovel. And I'm bawling outside in the dark. And then I came in my room and I was bawling. And it was the
Yeah.
way of water, right? So there's all this
Yeah.
water energy. And there was
During
some
a
death.
during a young water year.
Yeah. And there was death and then there was change. And it was just,
Mhm.
it's so reflective of this period that we're in. It was
Yeah.
about community and, connection and standing up for one another. And it's to me, it was such a profound message around family as we head into this rabbit energy, which we're not
Mhm.
going to get into too much because it's, we want to talk about that next month. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's perfect. And I think that's what the ox is trying to do. The ox tries to get us to slow down so we can take responsibility for our own things. We can take responsibility for our own emotions and really kind of look in the mirror and go, okay, why am I feeling this way? Why is that movie affecting me so in such a huge way? And then when you kind of dissect it, you're like, well, it's about community, it's about connection, it's about water energy. Then you
Mhm.
can kind of take a look at things around you and go, okay, so this is why things are going like this in my life. If we're bursting into things too quickly or we're moving ahead too quickly, we miss those things. We miss those nuances because we're moving too quickly.
Mhm. I agree. And I think the one thing I've learned from a couple ox fellows that live in my house here is that, the ox is all about hard work.
Yeah.
right? We want to think it's, the end of the year. God, it's been a hard year. I gotta, it should be fine now. We still are in it, and we still need to kind of push through and persevere
Hmm.
through the emotions or through, some things that are happening in the world or in our personal space. Um, yeah, we all want it to be easy, but there's some areas, maybe there's some areas of your life that are going really smoothly, but there's this one area, it's like, I'm going to push through this motherfucker and I'm going to nail it. And I know
Yeah.
for me, that's on my calendar,
Yeah.
just this month is no, I want to deal with this before this new year starts. It's not going to be pretty and it's not going to be fun, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, me and my husband just moved into a new house, and I've been just the last couple months, I've been feeling this push to just get things finished, get things
Mm,
done, get things set up, get things organized so that when the new year comes in, I'm not messing around with all of the finishing touches of things. I want to get it done now so that
hmm.
I can move into this new year of the rabbit and really focus on the things that I need to be focusing on.
Yeah. And so you just got this nice, and your home is just so beautiful, so
Thank
well
you.
put together and so thoughtful. So it's just going to be really grounded so that your action, your energy isn't being spent in that stuff. It's being spent
Hmm.
doing this amazing work that you get to do.
Yeah, exactly. And with the ox being an earth creature, earth is the element that guides and directs water. So
Hmm.
we have the opportunity this month to really guide and direct our energy into the things that need to get done before the new year.
Hmm.
So this is our chance. This is that
Yeah.
last push.
Yeah. That last big shovel of snow.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
going to
my
clear the
gosh.
path.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Last week I binge watched this show on Paramount called 1883, and it's the prequel to
Yeah,
Yellowstone.
so
And I
good.
was just like, oh my gosh, I have no problems. People back then, they had major problems.
Oh, hmm.
There was this scene of these oxen that were just pulling this heavy load. And I was just like, wow, that's that's the energy of January.
Hmm.
That's what we're doing. We have to carry that load. We have to move forward and get ready for the new year coming.
Hmm. Any final thoughts on like maybe share like what do you do? Like, do you have any traditions or ceremonies or intentions? It doesn't have to be Chinese New Year specific, but like in preparation for the Chinese New Year, like what do you guys do around the house to do that kind of stuff?
Well, I've got a bunch of fire energy in my chart, in both of my charts. I'm a triple fire in Western astrology, and I've got 35% fire in my Eastern astrology chart. So most of the rituals that I do are centered around fire. So I write a list of all of the grievances that I want to let go of in my life and burn it.
Oh, that's great.
I make a list of all of the things that I want to do for the year, and but then I burn it. I let that energy go. I don't want to hold it with me. I want to
Hmm.
set the intention and then release it
Yeah.
and see what happens. That's what I like to do. And then I have a touch of OCD, so I like to clean the week before Chinese New Year and make sure my house is spotless. And
Hmm.
the one of the things that I love that you've taught us over the years is take out the garbage the night
Hmm.
before Chinese New Year. Empty all of your garbages. If there's any garbage in your garage or and my whole garage is filled with boxes and garbage right now. So that's what I'm doing for the month of January is I'm getting rid of stuff so that when
Hmm.
Chinese New Year comes, I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing for me. I don't know why. It just, and I go through and I go through the pantry and the refrigerator, pull out everything that's expired, and
Mhm.
just really, just kind of get rid of old energy,
Yeah.
start new. Um,
Yeah.
I love that idea of writing down your grievances and releasing it to the fire. So
Yeah.
cool. All right, you're shuffling. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so this is the Unity card. Okay, the Unity
Mm,
card, it talks about traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations, or seeking out mentors or like-minded friends. Stubborn. The ox energy is very stubborn. So getting into disagreements with people this month,
Mm.
people are going to want to dig their heels in, and there's a lot of crazy political things that are happening this month. So it's best to avoid those conversations. It's best to kind of come together with people that you know, people that share the same viewpoints, but to also give people grace who have different viewpoints than you do. And then, seeking out mentors. This is a great year with rabbit energy coming up to learn lots of things. If you're wanting to teach, if you're wanting to learn, this is a good time.
Mm. I like that. I like what you said too, because it reminded me the 3 star is sitting in the northeast sector this month,
Yeah,
where the ox is, and the 3
yeah,
is all about arguing, bickering,
it
fighting.
is.
It's
Yeah.
conflict energy. It's
Mhm.
bullheadedness, and you mess with the bull, you're going to get the horns.
Yeah.
And so watch it, be careful with that stubbornness and standing your ground. And, it may push, that might be something that needs to push things for you,
Yeah.
but it also may keep you stuck. So really, think about the consequences of standing your ground and looking for that fight and entering that argument or that discussion. If only do it if it's meaningful, only if you know that this is really going to move things. This, if it's just repetitive, this is a habit, this is me doing what I've always done, it doesn't really help, it doesn't solve the problem, just let it go.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I think, and like we were talking about before, there's the tendency to, with water energy for this month and for the whole year, it's easy to kind of deflect, like
Mm-hmm.
the phrase, "You're making me feel dot dot dot." No one's making you feel anything. You have to take responsibility for your own emotions. And the minute we do, like the ox is trying to teach us, then a lot of these bickering and fights, they are going to lessen, or
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be less potent anyway.
Exactly. I do like that the water is there though, because it does kind of soften the ox. It makes them a little bit more flexible.
Yeah.
So rather than maybe, making it a confrontation, if that does stir up with a boss or, somebody in your home or your neighbor or whatever, it's like maybe approach it a little bit differently, be a little bit more flexible and give and take, negotiate, problem solve maybe in a different way.
Hmm.
Gosh, so much this month. It just feels like it's just amping up.
Yeah. It is.
I hope we can serve you well if you're listening. I hope we're doing a good job and we're helping you get through this stuff.
Well, that's the thing, is we're feeling it too.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
And I
feeling
think,
we're feeling all the crazy energy that everyone else is feeling.
yeah.
We just understand the language of astrology to kind of
Mhm.
help us through and give us kind of a viewpoint that's helpful,
It is. I agree.
hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, any closing words?
No, I'm looking forward to 2023 and next month when we can talk a little bit about Chinese New Year.
Yeah, me too. All right, thanks, my friend. Thanks, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy
Bye
New Year.
bye.